All right, happy to be joined on the Rain Dregs podcast by Mark Scheifele of the Winnipeg Jets. And I don't know, timing being everything, Scheif, when you look at your next opponent, that's the Montreal Canadiens on Thursday. We're taping this on Wednesday. They fire their coach and the assistant coach in Julian and Muller. So is it safe to assume that you and the Winnipeg Jets are expecting a pretty fired up Montreal Canadiens team?
Yeah, we were talking about it. We were talking about it this morning. We're definitely going to be ready for a team that's going to be guns a-blazing. We already know they play a pretty fast game. They play high pace. It's tough. So we know we're going to get their best tomorrow. So, it'll be a good test for us.
How much of that stuff, you say you talk about it, but, not much is going to change really system-wise. You're still going to see the same team. They might play faster or better. How much do you guys worry? Okay, we got to worry about us as opposed to worrying about whatever the heck Montreal is going to have.
Yeah, I think that's exactly it. We're going to have 3 days off now, or 3 practice days before, playing them. So we kind of know that it's going to be, we got to focus on how we can get better. So, practice today was more about, getting back up to speed, getting up to, playing at game speed again, and then knowing that we're going to play against a fast team that, is going to make you pay if you turn the puck over. So, it was a good preparation day for us today, and you got to have a good morning skate tomorrow and just be ready to play your game. You only can control what you can control, and all we can do is worry about being the Winnipeg Jets, and that's really all there is to it.
You guys come off the win in Vancouver in overtime where PierreLuc Dubois makes his left wing debut with you and Blake Wheeler. I'm curious, you guys go out for overtime and there's the 3 forwards there. Who's supposed to play defense, or is anybody? Or because I think that would be awesome to play like that.
Oh, it's fantastic. I love it. Paul's done it a few times, with me, KC and Wheels. But obviously, we felt pretty good, all game. Our line did, and I love it. I love that Paul does it. I wish more coaches would do it in the league. It's fun. It's 3-on-3. So, it's not like, when you get into the O zone, everyone's roaming around anyway. It doesn't matter if you're a D or a forward. So, you lock onto your guy, you make your reads, and, you go play hockey. That's the fun part about it. When you just get to go play, that's what hockey's all about.
I think I would love standing up and telling the D to squish down to their end. I think that's the best part.
I know it would have been a good one. It would have been a good one to be like, "Hey D, take a seat. We're finishing this one early." That would have been an ultimate power move.
What was it like with Dubois? Your first chance to play as a line together. What did you notice? What do you see from him that maybe you didn't know when he was playing in Columbus?
I think it's more personality. You watch him play, you kind of know the player that he has, the skill set he has. Obviously when you play with him, you figured out some tendencies with him. You see what he does, but I think the personality is the biggest thing. The amount of conversations that I've had with him about, other players in the league, about himself, about what he sees in games, all that stuff. That's what I love to see. He loves the game. He wants to talk the game. He wants to, improve his game, whether that's, anything, whether it's offense, defense, face-offs, whatever it is, he wants to get better at it. He wants to find that chemistry and find those things that make guys tick. And that's what I love, because I love doing that too. So me and him, this was 2 nights before we actually played together. We didn't even know we were going to be on the same line. We had an hour and a half conversation about just hockey. We were talking about Panarin a little bit when he played with them in Columbus, and hearing his the way he thinks the game, and obviously Panarin's one of the premier players in our league and a guy that I love to watch. So we were just talking hockey, we were talking shop, and it was awesome. And I think that's the biggest thing that I've learned about him is just how much he loves the game, how much he wants to get better at the game, and when it comes to that, I have so much respect for that, and I could talk all day with guys like that.
So you love that. It's well documented, how much you like to study the game and watch the game. And you mentioned just off air that since there's nothing to do when you're on the road, you spend more time in the gym or more time on the ice. Do you pick little things to focus on when you're on the ice, or are you just, okay, I'm going to work on my shot, or I'm going to work on my face-offs, or are there little things that you can get to?
Yeah, it kind of depends on the day. Like, depends on the game you played the night before, the practice you had the day before. Little things that maybe you didn't feel totally comfortable doing. You kind of get a sense of, okay, I had the puck in this corner a few times. I didn't feel comfortable with making this pass. Okay, I'm going to work on this. I'm going to work on this shot. And then, I'll have conversations with Otzi about it too. And he'll say, hey, at practice state, focus on this movement, or, he'll send me a video of a drill that we've done in the summer. To focus on something. And sometimes it's all sometimes that thought process that goes through your mind to like trigger it back to, how to feel it properly and what you're doing wrong. And, I'm very lucky to have, I have a lot of great, smart players on my team. I got Otzi to talk to about that. And, I definitely can fill my time talking hockey with a lot of guys. So it makes it nice to kill those minutes.
Mark, expand on that a little bit. You mentioned Otzi, of course. That's Adam Oates, who you've worked extensively with over the years now. How does that work in COVID-19? Like, I'm assuming that you can't go on the ice with them and run drills. So is it just communicating and, as you say, swapping videos?
Yeah, like, during the off season, I was able to skate with them for actually, I went to him and skated with him for, 2-ish months. Okay. 2 and a bit months. So I was able to get on the ice with a lot with them. So we were able to do a lot of good work and, dive into some things, a little more intently, but, obviously now he's not able to travel around and see guys or, so it's all over video. He's got a great platform that he uses to be able to send guys video and their clips and certain things to work on. So, he's one of those guys that obviously I like because he always wants to get better. He always wants to learn for us so that he can make us better hockey players. So that's a reason why we click so much, is because all he wants is to learn and understand and study the game and research the game on how to make, his guys better. And, he's definitely helped me so much. And I had a great off season with him. There's always things to work on. And that's a big reason why I love hockey, is there's always things to work on. So that makes it fun.
He was a famous stick tinkerer and loved to fiddle around with his sticks and his blades. And when he was coaching in Washington, Carl Alsner was telling me that he wanted him to change his curve a bit because it would help him in a certain spot on the ice. You can't change curves as easy as we could with the old wood blades. You just heat them up and curve them. Like, are you like same pattern all the time, or you fiddle around with that too?
I've been in now, I'd say early on when I first started working with Otzi, it changed a little bit, the lie, the length, the curve, all that stuff. And, I've been in pretty much the exact same stick for, I think, 2.5 years now. So, I feel like I've nailed it down, but there's always little things, that's the one thing is, all of a sudden you cut a stick, like, a little bit too much or a little too high or a little too low. And all of a sudden, all the next 5 sticks are too big or too small. So every once in a while you kind of, kind of fiddle with that a little bit. But, I think, even when I was going through the whole process of, getting in a new construction of the stick or lie or flex or whatever it was, Warrior, I think they're the best probably in the business of getting you samples as quick as possible. I remember one time I was fiddling around with, my curve, and I had a sample in like a week. So I had a sample that I could try and be like, oh, this one's good. Like, I like this one, or, this one isn't good. So, I think, that helps. I think all those companies are trying to figure out a way to get samples to guys quicker. Cause we all love to work on our sticks. We all love to work on, the flex and figure out what's going to make us better. And I think that's the cool thing that companies are doing, is they're enabling us to figure that out a little easier.
Now you got a long point run going right now. So will you take a stick that you're using now and put it aside and say, maybe in 2 months where you've had a rough 2 or 3 game spot, you go, I'm going to go back to that stick and look at it. Will you, an older player told me that once, and I thought it was really helpful. Like, would you do something like that?
Yeah. Usually, like, I have a few sticks at home that are, from times that are good, that sit in my house that I know are, I call them gamers. So,
yeah.
If I'm ever feeling off or something like that, I'll go grab a gamer and be like, okay, this is what it should feel like. If all of a sudden the stick feels a little off or the grip's a little off or whatever, and then I'll be like, okay, I'll talk to the equipment guys, talk to the guys at Warrior and say, okay, things are feeling a little off, or, maybe I cut it too long, or, maybe there's always something. We have a weird,
Right.
and it was actually funny you mentioned that, because I was reading the Tiger Woods book, and it was talking about how he got given 5 drivers from Nike, and he told them, I like the heavier one better. And they said, Tiger, we have they're all the exact same driver. And he's like, no, there's one that's heavier, and I like that one the best. And they sent it back to the factory, and it said they found that there was an extra dab of glue in the shaft, so it felt like a gram heavier. And and that's the thing is, like, us as players, we're always kind of like, there's something wrong with this one. There's something off about this one, and people will be like, they're all the exact same. You guys are crazy. But we have this little sense in our brain that there's something a little off. And, that after reading that, I was like, okay, I'm not crazy. Like, this is the best golfer ever to play the game. He feels it the same way. So it was funny when I read that.
In this season where it's so odd, and, we mentioned earlier the travel and all that, how do you kill time? Like, do you have a favorite show or many favorite shows that you've been through?
Yeah. I've actually been watching WandaVision. I'm a big Marvel guy. So it's the newest Marvel, series to come out. So I've been watching that, but you get through those, and, they're like 30-minute episodes, so it doesn't kill that much time. But, honestly, you kind of just, cruise around Netflix. I'll every once in a while, I love Marvel movies. So I'll watch an Avengers movie that'll kill 3 hours. Like, I have one of those Nintendo Switches, so I've been playing PGA Tour on that. Like, you kind of find your thing. I definitely catch myself watching my video way more intently, because it's just like, okay, like, I'm not really doing anything. Like, dinner won't be ready for another hour. Like, I'll go watch my video again twice. so you start to pick up on more things. I think, I texted Wheels like the other night and told him about something. He's dealing with his kids, and he's probably like, Scheif, what are you doing watching your video again? Like, right. But you definitely catch yourself doing some things, and maybe doing things a little slower than usual.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, most teams have roughly played 20 games inside the North Division. I mean, from an entertainment perspective, I think for the most part, fans love it, certainly like it. I mean, are you good with it, or is it getting to a point now where it's starting to feel a little bit old, playing the same teams over and over again?
Honestly, not really. Like, you're still playing hockey. Like, obviously it's different. You wish you could play, a different team every now and then. But, like, at the end of the day, you're playing hockey. You get into the heat of the battle. It's fun. Honestly, I've caught myself watching so many Canadian, like, just the North Division so much, just because, you're seeing those teams so much, and it's been such an exciting division to watch. And, there's so much, you watch Edmonton, you watch Toronto, you watch Montreal, any team, you're going to watch some superstar play. And I think that's been really fun to watch. And so I love it. It's been awesome. We play against Canadian teams. There's more hype around it, kind of gets you going a little more. So, I've loved it.
Who was your guy growing up? Who'd you go, yeah, that's my player? And who did you maybe think you played like when you were kind of becoming a player?
It was Steve Yzerman, through and through. The amount of projects I've done on Steve Yzerman as a kid. My whole family were big Red Wings fans, so I'm a big Steve Yzerman fan. It was always watching him. Me and my brother were both righties, so watching a righty play, and a captain, and pretty much the epitome of leader, hard worker, everything. We love Stevie Y, and actually, the kids sport people, a few years ago, they actually got me a picture signed by him that said like good luck in your career, Mark, and it was signed by him, and I was like absolutely in awe. So it's definitely Steve Yzerman.
Now, so you're a pretty competitive guy and a pretty fierce guy, and so is Andrew Kopp, and you guys have a little bit of competition at practice, and he knocks you on your ass. And I thought you guys' comments were awesome. Actually, the friendship card's revoked. Not going to talk to him to a day. What don't tell me what people don't understand about that, because I have a similar story from my career, but people don't quite understand it's just the way it is, right?
Oh, I was pissed. I was pissed he hit me because he kind of came through me, and I was like, and obviously I'm not that bad. It's not like he took my head off. Like
No.
he pushed me over essentially, but I was obviously pissed. I was pissed in the moment, so I was yelling at the coaches like, we better get one more rep of this because we were playing 2-on-2. So I'm like yelling at the coaches like, give us one more rep, and they ended up doing it. So I gave him a few cross checks. I went to pick him and threw my shoulder into him. But like I love that stuff. Like that's. And then I told him after the practice, I was like, you're dead to me today. And also I'll give a funny tidbit actually. So I got my financial advisor because he lived with me for the past 3 years, and I didn't charge him rent. He paid for half of our chef, but I didn't charge him rent. So I got my financial guy to send him an invoice for 3 years worth of rent, and to play a little joke on him. So, I got him back yesterday. He didn't fall for it, but, I loved it. I love battling in practice against guys. It's not vindictive. It's
Right.
Guys are competing. Like, I love that stuff. Like, even if we're playing basketball, like one-on-one, like I'd want him to body me and play me hard. So, I love that side. I love that side of it. And I was mad for about 4 seconds, and then it was all good.
Well, I was in Hartford, and a good friend of mine, Brad Shaw, who's the assistant coach in Columbus, we were doing a power play thing, and somehow 2 guys that never fought ended up fighting, us 2 dummies. And I'm sure it was a terrible fight. And I go home after practice, and my wife says, "Oh yeah, the Shaws are coming over for dinner." And I'm like, I just fought Shawsy at practice. So first thing I thought of when I heard that story, it's like you just look at each other and laugh, right? You're like, whatever.
But you're in the moment, like you're in the moment, so you get heated. But it's not like we have short memories, so you all of a sudden you forget it in 4 seconds, and then you want to beat him even more.
Right.
It's not like you want to get him back, but you're like, okay, I'm going to bury on you and make you feel bad. Like the competitive juices come out, and I love that. I love when our coaches do 2-on-2 or 3-on-3 in practice. Like that's when our true kid comes out in us, that we just want to battle and play. And I love doing that.
Last one for me, Mark, is like a lot of you guys have been together for a long time in Winnipeg. Like this is really a group that's grown together for the most part. And you've had the same coach in Paul Maurice for the most part. Like, how does it all stay fresh? How does it all stay, hey, we can be really good, we can still grow, we can change? Like, how does that stay fresh and new for you guys?
Well, I think Paul does a great job at trying to encourage us to get better at our game, to work at it, he gives us so much room to grow and room to work on our game and not be stagnant. I think that's the first thing. And then, he understands our team. We have guys, like Blake Wheeler, Andrew Kopp, Adam Lowry, Josh Morrissey, Neil Pionk. We have guys that aren't just satisfied with, they don't ever get complacent. They're always trying to work on new things. They're always trying to, get another edge, try to figure something out and get better. And I think that's, that cohesiveness, that competitive nature that we all have, we're able to bring it out in each other because Paul encourages us to get better. And, when you have that, it's going to make your team better. Every guy goes home every summer and wants to get, 10% better. And, that's how teams grow nowadays. It's not the free agents. It's not the trades. It's guys going home every single summer and putting in the work in the gym, putting in the work on the ice, and trying to become better hockey players, and then bringing it back to that team and finding that chemistry. That's when good teams are formed.
Well, you personally are among the league leaders in terms of points, 10 goals. I mean, you're having a real good run here. Do you like where your game is at the moment?
Yeah, I do. I really do. Obviously, the lines have kind of changed up a little bit. We've had some injuries. We have Doobie coming in, and I love playing with him. Against Vancouver that last game. So, but personally, I like my game. I put a lot of work in, like every summer. Getting on the ice a lot. Skating with Otzi a lot, in the gym, focusing on certain things to get better. And I love our team right now. It seems like we're meshing really well. We got guys that just want to get better and work hard, like Doobie coming in and kind of fitting that mold. And it's been awesome. It's we have a great group of guys, a lot of guys that like to work hard, and I think that's what gets me going. Is all of a sudden I see someone else working on their game, and I'm like, well, you're working on your game. I need to work on my game even more than you. So that competitive nature in all of us is, I think, awesome. And that's it's amazing. It's so fun being a part of a team like that.
That's great stuff. Well, we all look forward to watching the Winnipeg Jets moving forward. Mark, thanks for doing this today.
No, thanks, guys.